Boom! What's up, Waves Capital? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, I want to talk to you about my two favorite stocks of the holiday season, which are, as you already know, Unity Software and Matterport. Okay, so we will, of course, be diving into the chart today so I can discuss a few of my December targets for both of these names, while, of course, doing my best to rationalize these targets with some technical analysis. But when it comes to the fundamentals, I want to focus on the recently released Q3 earnings reports out of both Unity Software and Matterport, which were both released at the time of recording, which is November 17th, within the past week or so. Okay. And of course, if you're following these, you would know that both of these reports did send the stocks in the right direction. Okay. So if you've been a part of WavesCap for a while, you know that we've discussed both of these names many times, and I have held them in my personal portfolio for quite a while, and not only common shares, but call options as well. So I've liked these stocks for a while, but I like them even more following these Q3 earnings reports, and I'm excited to see what they can do over the course of the holiday season. Okay, so when it comes to the breakdown of this video, we'll kick it off with Unity's reports, dive into Unity on the charts. We will then take a little intermission so I can discuss my thoughts around just the nature of small to mid cap stocks right now and why I'm excited for a potential Santa rally in select growth stocks and once again small to mid caps. So we'll take a little break there. We will then move on to Matterport's Q3 earnings report, and then we'll close it out with MTTR on the charts. Okay, that's the video, you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Before we dive in, please let me know what your favorite stocks of the holiday seasons are in the comments down below. And you know what? If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Subscribe to the channel. Unity announces third quarter 2022 financial results. This is just on Unity's website. Both of these are on the investor tabs on both of these companies' websites, of course. And we are only going to be going over some highlights. I don't want to spend the time reading over these, but if you're invested in either of these companies, or even if you're trading them like I am, I do recommend that you go onto their investors tabs and read through the entirety of these reports for yourself, just because, information is power, knowledge is power. So Unity Software, the world's leading platform for creating and growing interactive real-time 3D content, today announced the third quarter 2022 financial results, including revenue of $322.9 million, which is up 13% from the same period in 2021. Excuse me. So this came out on November 9th. The third quarter came in line with guidance for revenue and non-GAAP operating income, and we're taking a prudent approach in the fourth quarter given the current macroeconomic environment, said Luis Visoso, Chief Financial Officer of Unity. We've carefully managed costs this year and will drive more efficiencies next year as we continue to capture the large opportunity in front of us. We delivered a solid quarter with very strong results in Create, reinforcing the value we bring in core gaming and digital twins, and saw continued progress in Operate, said John R., President and Chief Executive Officer of Unity. We welcome everyone at ironSource to Unity, so those are the guys they just acquired, as we build a transformational end-to-end platform that will create value for creators and our shareholders. We believe that the combination positions us for success in today's challenging ad market and for when markets begin their rebound. So I'm not going to go over all of the numbers here, but revenue was $322.9 million, which is an increase of 13% year over year, which is the third quarter of 2021. Okay. So recent business highlights, again, not going to go over all of these, but I just want to just going over a few bullet points. Unity completes merger with ironSource. So once again, Unity acquired or bought out the company ironSource. Unity launches self-serve features for game server hosting and matchmaker. Unity announces new pricing for Unity Pro and Unity Enterprise plans. Unity Sync Sketch raises the technical bar, and HBO Maxes are raised by wolves. I've watched a few episodes of that, but I'm not a really big fan. Let me know what you guys are watching right now. Tilbury Douglas launches Connect Configure with Unity. And lastly, Orlando Economic Partnership unveils world's first digital twin of an entire region with Unity. So good stuff here, you guys. Again, there is a lot of minutia in this report that has justified the price action that Unity's seen over the past week or so since releasing this report. But good stuff there. I'm really excited to see what happens, and let's talk about some December price targets for you guys. Okay, so following the earnings report, you guys, I said it within the past week or so, but I think Matterport's was actually on. Okay, so I guess, yeah, just about the past week or so, both of these were released. Anyway, since the release of Unity's report, the stock has been on absolute fire. On November 9th, November 10th, November 9th, whatever, it reached a low the day it released its earnings report. Okay, markets were in a bad spot. It reached a low of $21. That is Unity's not only 2022 low, but all-time low as well. So, since its all-time low, and since the Q3 earnings report released, Unity stock from trough to peak, I guess, it's usually peak to trough, but from trough to peak, at least as far as local highs are concerned, has appreciated by 72%, over 72%. So from a low of 21.25 to a high of 36.70, you guys. Crazy price action. I'm glad the Waves fam has been able to ride some of these waves with call options. One of the best performing call options in this span of time, I think I've probably ever traded. So if you guys got in on that trade, then congrats to you. But good stuff here, you guys. Again, this price action can be justified based upon this earnings report, and Unity over the past few days, you can see today as an example, has been on absolute fire. I mean, although you can't necessarily say that 1.5%, 1.5% is on fire, but the fact that the entirety of the market was down today and Unity was in the green really speaks dividends to the momentum from a fundamental perspective that is currently behind this stock. Okay, so as far as price targets are concerned, I mean, they're kind of right in front of you, but I do think a second wave is coming for Unity software. We did come up to almost retest the prior line of support as new resistance, which I do like to see. We did test it back here, so once it's tested once, it doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be tested again, but you can tell that this trend line is coming into play. But what I'm really eyeballing and what my target is for this second wave is going to be this prior trend line right here, which also intersects with historical ceiling for Unity around $46. But again, you guys, from a trading perspective, and I've been telling the newsletter this as well, when you're trading, especially call options, which are hyper volatile, if you have a price target of $46, you should probably start reducing, if not close out your position entirely around $45, okay? Because everyone's going to be looking at similar trend lines. Everyone's going to be eyeballing similar target ranges. So $45, even $44, start offloading some shares or calls. Just because you've already made a big win and you don't want to get greedy. So my second wave price target for Unity software is going to be about $45, conservatively $44, because I do think it can test this line, and I do think it'll actually come up to about $46. Okay, so that's Unity software. Let's dive into Matterport, but let's take that little intermission. I want to read through a few short points from my newsletters over the past few days. And actually, I guess, dating back a week now, but just talking about my current thoughts on the state of small to mid caps, just growth stocks in general, because I'm significantly more bullish on the small cap sector over the mega cap equities and like titans of tech, okay? So I stand by my short to medium term macro thesis that growth stocks should continue to rally, at least for the most part, up until mid-December. Investors tend to sell in the weeks before the new year for tax loss harvesting purposes, so I'll likely begin offloading and restructuring my call positions over the next 30 days. Call options positions, of course, okay? So that said, I trust the remainder of the month of November will show continued strength, and I'll continue to capitalize on this belief. Let's keep riding these winter waves. The swell is still young. Okay, so even since writing this newsletter, you guys, this week has been full of ups and downs, and I trust the next few weeks will as well. But if you have a game plan, in place, for me personally, my game plan, and the one that I've held in place for the past few weeks now, and that have led to, thankfully, a lot of gains over these past couple of weeks, is the fact that we will see somewhat of a Santa rally As I just alluded to, I do not think this will last into Christmas itself. So I do think that this will fizzle out and actually potentially see a macro reversal to the downside prior to December 25th. But I do think that into the first or second week of December, we can see this rally persist. And I do have some targets on the S&P and some of the larger equity indices that I am eyeballing as well. Again, if you're part of the newsletter, you would know very well what these are. But I do think that this can last at least through the month of November. Once we enter the month of December, we'll take it day by day from there. But I do think that there is still some rally ahead of us, and I'm excited about the structure of the portfolio right now, honestly. So again, just celebrate this. I meant to read this before, but actually didn't get around to it. But little celebration, and I know we're going to be heading into the weekend now. So hopefully this is appropriate, and hopefully tomorrow is another green day for Waves Cap. So the massive gains that we've just earned for ourselves are well-deserved, and I trust that more lay ahead of us. That said, profits have been solidified, and I'll most definitely be deploying some of those profits on good eats and drinks this weekend. Hope you do the same. Cheers, team. And again, this was from last Friday, but this week, although it's been full of ups and downs, is so far looking pretty damn good, and I'm excited to see how we close it out. So before we dive into Matterport's earnings, you guys, if you want to join Waves Capital for real, if you want to join officially, then hit the first link down in the description box below. There you will find my complete portfolio and daily newsletter. Okay, with this, you of course get the newsletters I write every single day. Kick it off with the Trade Alert newsletter, and then I write a Price Targets newsletter after the fact, going over multiple charts and anything relevant to Waves Cap as far as technicals are concerned. So if you want that, along with, of course, a complete breakdown of my entire portfolio, which I do update every single trading day during market hours. That's the first thing I do before sending out or writing my newsletters at all. Wake up in the morning, check the markets, do some due diligence. I trade, and then I write the Trade Alert newsletter. This is, of course, during market hours, so it is time sensitive. But if you guys want a look into my personal portfolio, into the Waves Capital portfolio, first link down below. Once again, $15 a month, $40 for every 3 months. Try free for 7 days, and if you don't like it, you can just peace out. But I trust you'll be sticking around. If you do, welcome to the winning team in advance, you guys. I appreciate you. Okay, so that's that, you guys. Let's dive into Matterport's third quarter earnings. Then we'll close it out with MTTR on the charts. Okay, so for Matterport, we will be reading over some of these metrics because they summed it up a little more cleanly than Unity did over here. Okay, I shouldn't say cleanly, but definitely more time sensitive. Total revenue rose to a record $38 million above company guidance. Subscription revenue rose to a record $19 million above company guidance. Services revenue rose to a record at $10 million, up 204% year over year. So a cool 3x year over year. That's insane. Q3 GAAP loss per share of 20 cents. I mean, Matterport's such a young and innovational company. In my mind, it's very okay that they're losing money because they have so much cash on their balance sheet, which we'll cover right here. But unfortunately, due to the nature of the markets, you guys, and just kind of the macroeconomic backdrop, unprofitability is very unappealing to many conventional institutional investors. But I think Matterport can weather this storm, and I do think a second wave is in store for Matterport as well, which we'll get into after this. But non-GAAP loss per share of 9 cents, exceeding company guidance, which means that they did beat on both guidance and revenue as far as analyst estimates are concerned. And lastly, as I just alluded to, balance sheet remains strong with $495 million in cash and investments. So very strong balance sheet, you guys. Again, they did burn some cash, but they have so much on their balance sheet, and they are growing at such an exponential rate that the cash on hand really does justify the losses, because they are, evidently applying that cash, and the losses are tactical. Okay, I'll just leave it there. So Matterport, the leading spatial data company driving the digital transformation of the built world, today announced record financial results for the quarter ended September 30th, 2022. We delivered outstanding third quarter results with total revenue demonstrating that our strategy is working, said RJ Pittman, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Matterport. We successfully launched our new Enterprise Essentials subscription suite, as well as our new high-speed LiDAR-enabled Pro 3 camera, which began shipping in the third quarter. We also completed the acquisition of VHD Studios, which brings together an industry-leading real estate market platform with Matterport's immersive digital twin technologies. Further, customer demand remained robust in the quarter as enterprises leveraged the deflationary power of Matterport digital twins to improve operating efficiency and productivity, resulting in strong revenue growth across our target markets, Pittman added. Okay, so good stuff here, you guys. Again, I encourage you to go read over the entirety of these earnings reports if you are invested or trading either of these names. I did personally, but again, I felt that these were the only points necessary to actually read through in this video. Okay, so good stuff here, you guys. Again, always been a fan of these two. I shouldn't say always, but been a fan of these two companies for a very long time now. And these two Q3 earnings reports have ensured and really solidified my loyalty to these companies as a bull over the holiday season and definitely going into the year of 2023. Okay, so that's Matterport Unity. Again, if you haven't, let me know in the comments down below. You don't have to keep it easy. If you could only choose one stock to hold for the rest of the year into 2023, what would that stock be and why? Okay, so looking forward to seeing your guys' answers downstairs. But let's close it out with Matterport on the charts. We'll keep this short and sweet, you guys. Matterport did see a beautiful pop following their earnings report, which you can see right just so boom, earnings report did see a pop from the lows to the highs of 47%. Unfortunately, since then, we have wiped out some gains. But that's the nature, you guys. I do feel a second wave coming. And actually, as I'm looking at this, we can get an arc pattern going. Been talking about so many head and there's so many. I just said this in this morning's newsletter, actually. Along with examples, even in the S&P 500, you're seeing short, medium, long-term head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders patterns. But I mean, you guys, these head and shoulders patterns are everywhere in this market environment. So, head and shoulders pattern. This is, of course, the bullish brother of the head and shoulders pattern. This is the inverse head and shoulders pattern, which does resolve in an upside breakout. So, same as the head and shoulders pattern, you guys. You see the shoulder, the head, followed by a move that is parallel to the other shoulder. Of course, shoulders, unless you're like that, are gonna be parallel to each other, or just straight across the line from each other. Hopefully, if you have proper posture. Shoulder, head, shoulder. This is inverse, so it's upside down. But typically, you range sideways will probably carry out this sideways pattern, the sideways zigzag pattern for a bit longer. But I do think that ultimately this head and shoulders pattern will resolve itself. I do think Matterport can reach a price of at least $4.20 to resolve the first base of the initial shoulder on this pattern, which took place on October 6th or 7th right here, as you can see. So I do think that Matterport can, at the very least, resolve this head and shoulders pattern, get up to a nice price of $4.20. So I do think Matterport can see $4.20 in the shorter term, but ultimately, you guys, when it comes to, hint, hint, how I'm trading some of my options, which is why I want this random, not so random date of January 20th, 2023 is here. I do think that by the new year, over the remainder of Q4, going into Q1 of 2023, Matterport can make its way up. I think this stock deserves to be much, much higher than it is right now, especially given the crazy amounts of growth that they're seeing. Let's see what they're... 1 year average analyst price target is 675, representing about a 2x from here. I think that's light. I personally think Matterport should be in the double digits. And although this is very speculative to say, and I do not want to put any weight on this, I do think that there is a very, very high probability, even in this environment, of Matterport being acquired, especially at these prices, by a larger company because it's such a promising business as far as future prospects are concerned. I do think Matterport has a very, very high likelihood of acquisition or of something very, very significant happening, whether it's acquisition or an institution of some sort taking on a massive position. So that is 100% speculative. That is not fact by any means. Do not put much weight on that. But again, you guys, I've been doing that for a long time. That is actually part of my, although once again, very speculative, part of my investment kind of 5x5 trading thesis that I will make a video on one of these days. But Matterport, I think in the short term, can see at least $4.20. But ultimately, over the course of the next quarter, I'll just say next few months, I do think Matterport can see $5.50. almost at the very least. And my high side price target for Matterport is 650 going into Q1 of 2023. Okay, once again representing about a 2x. So we'll call the video there, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you did, please give the video a like. More importantly, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite stock is right now and why. And once again, if you want to join Waves Cap, if you want to join the winning team, first link down below. Appreciate it if you guys do join. And if not, you know what, no worries either. I appreciate you watching this video. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace, team.